Hello Stewart, welcome to the Gatwick Diamond Economic Summit. I'm sorry that you're not here today and you're with Vinci, your new owners in Berlin at a convention. Perhaps you can tell me a little more about Vinci's plans for the airport.
So what happened, Rosemary, earlier this year is that Vinci took a 50.01% share in Gatwick, and they now enter into a strategic partnership with global infrastructure partners who've been at the airport for some time, who will control and manage the 49.99% share. So as we go forwards, we'll have Vinci and GIP in partnership as the shareholder body, which the management team will interface with at Gatwick.
I know you've been supporting the Gatwick Diamond Economic Summit for many years now, and supporting in particular local and regional businesses. Perhaps you can tell us a little bit more about how important it is for you to work with the local business community.
Well, we've been great supporters of the summit over the years, and I'm personally disappointed I'm not there today, but very pleased to be doing the video. As you know, working with local businesses is really important to us. We work very closely with all of the different business associations. We're very grateful for the support they lend to us and for some of our future plans at the airport, as well as working with the likes of the local enterprise partnership. And of course, our supply chains into the region have actually flourished over the last few years, where we seem to be doing more and more business locally to the airport, which I know is really important to business owners and businesses in the area.
Over the past few years, we've seen international routes open all the time at Gatwick. Can you tell me more about those new routes and any opening soon that you could perhaps let us know about?
Well, that's always a tricky question to answer in terms of the new ones and letting you know about those ones, Rosemary. But in terms of developments at the airport over the last few years, I don't think we can understate how successful we've been, particularly in attracting new long-haul routes. But over 2018, we saw 20% growth in our long-haul passenger volumes, which is really significant. We saw a number of new routes, new airlines, the likes of Qatar, starting services across into Doha is really important to us. They're now flying 3 flights per day on most days. We've also had the likes of China Airlines come in, flying to Taiwan, and Cathay flying across to Hong Kong. Then more recently, China Eastern started services to Shanghai. Across into the Americas, we've had Norwegian switch their flights into the main San Francisco airport, which is well received, as well as starting flights into Miami. And with the view to South America, we've also seen Norwegian going to both Buenos Aires and Rio de Janeiro. In terms of the future, the one I'll share with you is we're expecting Jazeera to start services very soon into Kuwait City.
Gatwick has really stepped up its support of educational initiatives, getting students work ready and of course seeking future apprentices for Gatwick itself, as you once were. Can you tell us more about such initiatives and about STEMfest and your educational screenings?
So for me, the STEM skills are really important, particularly to an environment such as Gatwick. We lend ourselves clearly to implementing the latest technologies, which involves a lot of IT and a lot of engineering. So we've got a very proud track record at Gatwick. For over 40 years, we've had an apprenticeship program. As you say, I myself actually started my career in an apprenticeship program, and it's something that we're very heavily invested in. But what we also like to do, of course, is not just have people on our own teams benefiting from these skills. We also want to sponsor these skills across the region. And that's really what's led us to become very involved with some of the local universities and also STEMfest. And some of the different ways in which we can reach out, particularly to teenagers, to talk to them through the voice of our technically skilled people about what STEM-skilled education can offer in terms of career prospects to young people for their future. So it's something I'm very passionate about myself, and it's something which we've got a proud track record in, and we're going to keep pushing in the years ahead.
Gatwick continues to invest in the airport, and you have told us that Vinci will continue to do so. One big project businesses are looking forward to is the redevelopment of the rail station. We've been waiting several years to get this started. Can you give us an update?
Well, if we talk about investment in the round, this is now my 10th year at Gatwick. Over the last 10 years, the teams at Gatwick have invested over £2.2 billion in transforming the airport, improving the services, and building bigger facilities to handle the additional volume of people now travelling through the airport. For the next 5 years, Vinci and GIP certainly support our £1.1 billion investment programme, so I think people should expect to see us continue to invest at similar rates per year as you've seen over the last 10 years. And one of the projects which we will be working on is the long-awaited rail station. This is something that the Gatwick team, along with excellent support from business organisations and the local enterprise partnership, have really championed. And I'm very pleased to say that we're now at the stage where it looks as though that development is going to go ahead, with us partnering with Network Rail, the government and the local enterprise partnership. And I think that'll be a really positive move, not just for the airport, but for the region as a whole.
It would be wrong not to mention the drone incident. Since then, I believe there's been a lot of developments and technological improvements for airports to prevent such incursions. Perhaps you can tell me more about that?
So certainly we were disappointed with the disruption that we faced just before Christmas when we had a malicious drone attack at the airport. It made us worldwide news for a number of days. It was quite challenging for myself and also for the team at the airport, but I do think that the team really stepped up to the plate well, particularly Chris Woodruff and the operations team. From our perspective, what we'll never do is jeopardise the safety of our passengers. So we will always put safety and security ahead of everything else that we do at the airport. I think people saw that particularly whilst the drone attack was ongoing. What we'll also do, of course, is to invest in the latest technologies where they exist to try to defend ourselves. Pleased to say today we have some of the latest technologies and probably more technology than any other UK airport when it comes to fighting off drone attacks.
And of course that other dirty word, Brexit. How is and how can Gatwick prepare for what it doesn't know is going to happen?
Well, certainly the uncertainty is not welcomed by ourselves as a business. I'm sure many businesses in the room today really would feel the same way. Irrespective of whether you want to remain or you want to exit, the uncertainty is something which is difficult to deal with from a business perspective. So we would like to see Brexit dealt with at the earliest opportunity. In terms of how it's impacting our business, we would argue that whilst we're still growing as a business, which is fantastic, we're probably growing at a slightly slower rate than we otherwise would have been. So the uncertainty is actually hampering our ability to grow as fast as we otherwise would have done. And that's why we're really pushing to try to get Brexit resolved one way or the other at the earliest opportunity.
Can you tell us more about what stage you're at with the Gatwick Draft Master Plan?
So the master plan was a document which looks at the ways in which Gatwick could grow over the next 15 years. The process that we go through is that we publicly consult on a draft master plan. So that happened between October time and January time of last year. And we've been going through the process of collating all of the responses which help to inform the finalised version of the master plan. What I hope is that over the next few weeks or months, we'll be in a position to publish the final master plan, which contains different pathways for growth for the airport. For example, it contains a pathway which looks at us using technology on the existing main runway to see the airport grow in the coming years. It also looks at the prospect of using the standby runway to see more growth at the airport over the next 10 or 15 years. And it also calls out for the safeguarding for the building of a brand new runway at some point in the future, should the British government turn back to Gatwick and want to pursue that course of action. So at the moment, we're in the stage where we're just looking at the responses to the draft master plan, and hopefully over the next few weeks or months, we'll be in a position to publish that.
And what is the technical process thereafter?
Well, depending which of the options that we would like to pursue, there are a variety of routes available to us. The one that I'm most often asked about is the prospect of the use of the standby runway. And if we were to pursue that, then we'd have to prepare what's called a DCO, or Development Consent Order, and go through the planning process in order for us to be able to start to use the standby runway for both resilience at the airport and also additional movements. So that would take several years. So I think, first of all, I'd like to say I hope everybody has a really successful summit. I'm sorry I can't be there this year. Hopefully I'll be there next year. But you're in the safe hands of Mark Lever, and I'd encourage everybody to ask him the most challenging questions that you can possibly think of.
Thank you, Stewart.